Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for this press conference. I want to talk to you about a police operation that recently took place. The title is called Operation Rock Solid. Operation Rock Solid took place over a period of approximately 4 months, accumulating late in October of 2018. The name Rock Solid was chosen because the majority of the narcotics purchased was rock cocaine, also known as crack cocaine. And the cases are rock solid from a prosecution perspective. In addition to the cocaine, other narcotics was recovered in this operation, including marijuana, MDMA, and spice. The operation utilized the Drug Market Intervention Strategy, also known as DMI, which the Sarasota Police Department adopted as a crime reduction technique in 2012. Crime mapping, citizen complaints, and criminal intelligence information were used to identify high-traffic areas of open-air drug activity. Undercover detectives were utilized to identify the dealers in these areas and begin making covert purchases of illicit narcotics from those involved. Every drug transaction that took place during this operation was captured via video and audio surveillance techniques. To protect the integrity of each case and the identities of the undercover personnel, arrests were held pending the conclusion of this operation, at which point the suspects were apprehended in a roundup. As a result of this operation, we have the following statistics. A total of 38 people were involved in selling narcotics during this operation. 35 were men and 3 were women. 2 individuals qualified for DMI, which is the Drug Market Intervention, which is the no or deferred prosecution, depending on their acceptance of the offer to participate in and successfully complete the DMI program. The remaining 36 individuals represent and present a total of 619 prior felony arrests, with a combined total of 252 prior felony convictions. That means these individuals that were out committing felonies again, selling drugs to undercover police officers, have already been convicted of felonies over and over again. As a matter of fact, 2 of these individuals had over 20 prior felony convictions each. At this point, we have arrested 36 of the 38 individuals, and we are still actively looking for the remaining 2, coincidentally, the 2 who actually qualify for the Drug Market Intervention Program. If they cannot be located or turn themselves in, warrants for their arrest will be completed, and we will apprehend them and arrest them for these charges. 2 of the individuals that were arrested have been indicted and will be prosecuted in the federal system. In addition to the seized narcotics, we recovered multiple firearms, and you can see from the photographs some of the firearms that we confiscated. Senior members of the state's attorney's office have met with the SPD detectives. They have reviewed the cases and criminal histories of each individual involved in order to prepare a prosecution strategy. I'd like to take this time to say thank you to a number of people involved in this operation. First, I'd like to thank our police officers of the Sarasota Police Department, especially our narcotics investigators. Their commitment, their bravery and courage, and their commitment to our community is outstanding, and I am proud of them and the efforts that they make. It is not easy being an undercover police officer. It's dangerous. They put themselves out there to protect our community from individuals who are preying upon them, and also preying upon individuals who have addictions. So I'm proud of the efforts that they're making to keep our community safe. And for those that have heard me talk before, narcotics cases are the #1 reason why we have most other crimes, including murders, robberies, aggravated assaults, drive-by shootings, burglaries, thefts from vehicles, usually stem from people that are committing crimes related to narcotics. So the efforts that our investigators are making to try to bring these individuals to justice and get them off the street will actually improve the quality of life of the citizens in our community and provide our visitors also with a safe place to come visit. So I thank our officers very much. Next, I'd like to thank our community partners, and there's a number of them, from the state's attorney's office to a number of our religious leaders, to other groups that are partnered with us with this DMI strategy. And I'd also, though, especially like to thank the citizens in the community for supporting the police department in these efforts, for providing criminal tips and information about these type of cases and the individuals that are involved in selling drugs in their neighborhoods. We couldn't do this without you. Now, a lot of people don't realize, but this DMI strategy is part of a community policing. A lot of people think community policing is just, hey, let's be nice to people and be blue plus you and look at the police on social media, and we do fun things like Elf on the Shelf and some other positive initiatives. But community policing is also tough on crime, and our agency and our officers are going to be committed and continue to identify who the individuals are that are preying upon individuals in our community, and we're going to put a stop to it. A lot of people may remember how bad it was during the 80s and 90s with crack cocaine, and we do not want that to happen again. And you notice that a lot of these cases, the majority of them involved crack cocaine. So we are going to continue to investigate narcotics crimes. The message to the drug dealers are, as I've told you a number of times, and I'm almost a little tired of continuing to give this message, but I guess people aren't listening, so we're going to be committed to coming out. We're going to find you. We are going to arrest you. We're going to bring you to justice. We ask you to stop dealing drugs in our community. There are alternatives. We'll be happy to help you if you want to get away from drugs. If you're addicted to drugs, we will help you with drug addiction and counseling. We will do everything we can to help you. If you're a drug dealer, find another line of work. You're not going to sell drugs in our community. And again, I'd just like to thank our investigators and see if you have any questions. I've got the captain of the Criminal Investigation Division, the lieutenant in charge of the narcotics unit here. We'll be happy to answer any questions that we can.
Can you elaborate on the DMI program and what that entails?
Sure. DMI program was an initiative that started in High Point in the Carolinas, and Mr. Kennedy wrote a book about Don't Shoot, it was called, and it described an initiative where it gives people an opportunity that may not have a violent past, that may just be involved in drug dealing for a number of reasons, whether it's economics, whether it's a lifestyle they learned, but they really are being led down a path, and instead of sending them to the path towards jail, they're given an alternative path. And the path is where the community embraces this individual, and they're given a chance to defer their prosecution, to not be charged with a crime, but they have to get involved in either an education program and finish their high school diploma or go to college, get a job, and we've had some success. There's one individual that actually got a scholarship to college and has totally turned their life around. So it gives people an opportunity to not get that felony record. But there are certain criteria. We work with our state's attorney's office to identify individuals, and in this case, there's 2 out there that qualify for this, but we haven't been able to find them. And if we don't find them, unfortunately, they're going to have to go down the same path as the other 36 individuals. But it's a very positive way of interacting with individuals and not necessarily sending them down the path to prison. It gives them a chance to have a community support them and get them away from the life of crime.
How many people have been into the program, and how many have successively gotten out? And
I'll get Genevieve to give you that exact numbers.
Since 2012?
We have been doing it since 2012, and it hasn't been as many as I would like to see, but I figure if we can save one person from going down that life and get them out of the life of dealing drugs or involved in criminal activity like this, I think that's a success. So we've had a number of them, but I'll make sure Genevieve gets you the exact number. It is. I can tell you that it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of logistics. It takes a lot of work on the part of our investigators. First, we have to identify an area. That's part of the DMI strategy. We work in cooperation with the community through community complaints, through our own intelligence-led policing, where we map out where we're seeing a number of incidents or complaints coming in. Once we identify the area, then our officers begin working on building up the cases against the individuals where they actually are able to go and make drug deals.
Are you able to tell us what area specifically?
All areas of Sarasota are going to be open to the operation, so it just depends on where we're finding the most complaints that are coming in.
Okay, you talk about this being a broken record. Are there any new ideas here? I mean, we did this a couple months ago, we did it a couple of years ago, we've done it for, I mean, Any
So
new
the
ideas?
new ideas are drug dealers stop dealing drugs in our community. We're law enforcement. We're going to continue to enforce the laws that are there, and if people are out there dealing drugs, we're going to continue to investigate and arrest these individuals and bring them to justice. This strategy works if people participate in the program, but you also have to have individuals that don't have over 20 prior felony convictions to be able to go into this program. Plus, we can't take people that have violent past, because I don't, and I know the state's attorney also, in speaking with them, don't want to put individuals back out on the street if there's a chance that they could potentially harm anyone else. And we're dealing with cases where there's guns. I can tell you, and something you may be interested in, that our police department over the last year has either confiscated, recovered, or taken into our custody 171 firearms. That's 171 guns that have been taken off the street. And that doesn't even begin to talk about the guns that have been stolen out of cars, and that's cars that are unlocked that people are leaving their guns in. So we're seeing too much gun violence in our community. We're seeing a slight uptick in violent crime within our community, and we're committed to do everything we can to reduce that violent crime. And by addressing drug crimes, that's the #1 way to help deal with reducing violent crime. Thank you, everybody, so much for your time and attention and putting this out to the community. And again, thank you to the investigators who are here, and thank you for your commitment. It really takes, again, a lot of courage and a lot of conviction to continue this, and we're committed to doing that. Thank you very much.